Welcome back to my channel. Today I have a different type of video for all of you where I'll be interviewing someone and hopefully you'll find it interesting and educational. So let's get straight into it. Welcome back to my channel. Today I have a different type of video for all of you where I'll be interviewing someone and hopefully you'll find it interesting and educational. So let's get straight into it.
Hi guys, this is Maryam and this is my first time on a YouTube channel. So thank you Khadeeja for having me.
I'm also very excited to have you here. So tell us a bit about yourself first so that we can get to know you.
I live in Pakistan and I'm 19 years old. I just finished my A levels and I'm currently admitted into the Institute of Business Administration, which is also known as IBA.
Okay, that's great. So you passed your IGCSEs also. I know that you did them privately. So how did you manage to do that? Because many people find it difficult to do self-study and all of that. So how did you manage all of that? Like what was your routine or, any tips that you have?
The hard part, it was quite hard to begin with, and the hardest part was to find the motivation to study when your brothers and sisters are all enjoying themselves. And the tip would be to make a plan for yourself, make a plan on what to do and when to do. And I would say follow the plan.
Okay, so that's great. That's a good tip for everyone to follow, whoever wants to self-study or do IGCSEs privately. So if you don't mind, how much did you get in IGCSE? Like, could you share your score with us?
Okay, so I gave 7 IGCSEs and I got A stars in 5 of them and A's in the other 2.
Oh, wow, that's brilliant. And that's especially good because you did it all by yourself. So you didn't have any formal teaching or anything. So that's a great score. And it just shows that if you plan properly, you can get it done.
Thank you, Khadeeja.
No problem. Okay, so moving on, you even gave the SAT exam yourself, as you told me before. So you needed to do the SAT exam because of IBA. To get into IBA, you needed the SAT exam. So how did you do that? How did you study for the SAT exam?
Well, deciding to do the SAT exam was a spontaneous decision, and I took all the help I could from Khan Academy. That is one great source from which you can do your SATs and prepare for them. And I think that was all. And there was another book called the Barron's Workbook. That's another great source to prepare from. I think those were the 2 sources that I used.
Okay, so that's a good tip for anyone who wants to do SAT. So now, anything else that you could tell us about the SAT exam, like the things that are most likely to come, maybe, or like common mistakes which someone can make?
The common mistake is rushing the exam. You need to take your time, read the passages properly, and answer them. Because if you give like a few, every question has 1 point. So if you rush them and try to complete them, you get most of them wrong. So even if you leave some of them, but the ones that you do are correct, that will earn you more marks or points, as they say in SAT.
Okay, so basically, don't rush the exam. Okay, so that was a good tip from Maryam. Now, how much did you get in your SAT eventually, if you don't mind?
Okay, I got a 1310 on my SAT.
Okay, so now that we've talked about your IGCSEs and your SAT, basically all the hard work you did to get into IBA. So finally, like, how did you actually get admitted? Like, did they take an interview or what was the main process?
Firstly, I applied online. There was a form to fill. I completed that. And there are actually 2 ways to get into IB. You can either give the aptitude test or you can give a SAT exam. Obviously, I chose to go with the SAT exam. And since my score was above the requirement, I got in without giving the aptitude test. And then the results were released, and they basically told me that where the interview was going to be held and when. And I had to go to the university to give the interview. There was a panel of 3 people to which I gave the interview to. It was quite a small interview compared to what other people have told me.
Oh, okay, so that means you had to give an interview to 3 people, which can be very daunting. So, how did you manage to stay cool and calm, like in front of 3 people?
I was not cool and calm. I was sweating right before going into the interview. But my brother was there with me, and he was like, "You got the marks, Mariam. You got the SAT above average, and you got your A levels results as well. So the interview isn't likely to be very hard. So and it lasted about 5 minutes. So
Oh, okay.
that was about it.
Okay, so that must have been a relief that, after 5 minutes, it was all over and you basically didn't have to be that stressed anymore. But after the interview, what happened? Like, when did they let you know that you were in or not?
After the interview, after 2 3 days, they published the results online,
Hmm.
and that's how I got to know I got in.
Oh, okay. That's amazing, mashallah. So, what would be maybe your main tip for anyone who wants to get into IBA? I know you haven't started studying yet, but just like getting into IBA, like just a tip. Yeah.
I would say to keep a cool mind that
Hmm.
I didn't have. I would tell him to basically give the exam, and it isn't very hard if you're prepared.
Yeah.
And even
Okay.
the interview isn't very hard. You just need to keep your cool in it.
Hmm. Yeah. Okay. So those were some great tips from Maryam, and basically, she has now got into IBA, mashallah. And for those of you who want to get into IBA, these tips can be really helpful for you. So I hope you all enjoyed the video. Now, on a less academic level, more personal. So, Maryam, what are your interests? What do you do in your free time?
My interests and hobbies would include reading. That is one thing that I love the most. And my favorite book would probably be the Harry Potter series.
Oh, okay. That's my favorite too.
Yeah.
Okay, so you love to read, and actually, reading is a very good way to develop your mind and your vocabulary. So, reading is a very good hobby to have in your free time. So, yeah, that was our short interview, and I hope you all gained some insight from it if possible. So, that's all for today. Thank you for watching the video. And this was an interview with Maryam.
Bye, guys. It was a pleasure to be with you. Thank you, Khadija, for having me on your channel.
Okay, so that's it for today. Thank you for watching the video. Please like it if you found it useful and subscribe for more content like this. See you in the next one.